They thought it would be the trip of a lifetime. But somewhere along the endless highways of the American West, they vanished. No ransom, no witnesses. Just a single, abandoned van sitting on a lonely stretch of desert road. The engine still warm, and 2 cups of coffee untouched on the dashboard. This is the haunting story of Daniel and Emily Carter, a young couple whose dream cross-country trip turned into one of the most baffling disappearances in modern American history. Before we continue into the haunting details of the couple who vanished on a road trip across America, make sure to subscribe to K-Script Vault and join us as we reopen the cold cases time tried to bury. Daniel Carter was 29 years old, a freelance photographer from Oregon. Adventurous, charismatic, always chasing the next perfect shot. His fiancée, Emily Reyes, was 27, an art teacher known for her kindness and creative spirit. Together, they were the kind of couple people admired, full of dreams, laughter, and plans for a future that seemed certain. They postponed their wedding twice because of money, but in the summer of 2021, they decided to do something spontaneous, a cross-country road trip from Oregon to Florida. Emily documented everything on social media: sunsets over Utah, diner breakfasts in small towns, silly moments in the van they'd named Wendy. But friends later said something changed in those last posts. Emily's smile seemed forced, her captions shorter. And in one of her final videos, Daniel's voice can be heard snapping, "Emily, stop filming for once." It was the last video ever posted. On July 14th, 2021, a truck driver spotted an abandoned white Ford Transit van just off Route 163 near Monument Valley, Utah. It looked out of place, its headlights still on, even though it was the middle of the day. When state troopers arrived, they found the van unlocked. Inside were Daniel's camera gear, Emily's sketchbook, 2 phones both powered off, and a folded paper map with a route marked toward New Mexico. Nothing seemed stolen. Nothing seemed violent. But 30 feet away, in the red sand, investigators found something chilling. 2 sets of footprints, one leading away from the van, the other looping back toward it. And then vanishing. No struggle, no blood, just silence. Detective Laura Vasquez from the Utah State Police led the case. She later said, "It wasn't a typical missing persons call. Everything about that scene felt staged, like they'd stepped out of their lives and into the desert." Search teams scoured a 20-mile radius with drones, dogs, and volunteers. Nothing, not a trace. Then a week later, a small lead surfaced. A gas station clerk in Kayenta, Arizona, about 40 miles south, reported seeing the couple 2 days before the van was found. He remembered them clearly because they were arguing. Emily was crying. Daniel slammed the door as they left. That was the last confirmed sighting of Daniel and Emily Carter. As detectives dug deeper into their lives, a more complex story emerged. Text messages showed that Emily had grown uneasy about the trip. She told a friend Daniel had become moody, obsessed with capturing footage for a travel vlog he was planning to launch. Police also found deleted texts on her phone, messages between Emily and an ex-boyfriend back home. It painted a picture of tension, frustration, and secrets, the kind that fester quietly until something snaps. Meanwhile, online sleuths went into overdrive. Reddit threads exploded with theories. Was this a robbery gone wrong? Did Daniel kill Emily and flee? Or had they both fallen victim to something darker, hidden in the desert? But the truth, or what little of it could be found, was about to surface. 3 weeks after the disappearance, a hiker discovered a black DSLR camera buried near a dry creek bed, 6 miles from where the van was found. It was Daniel's, and remarkably, the memory card was still intact. When investigators reviewed the footage, The early clips were typical of Daniel, scenic drone shots, Emily smiling beside the van, the sun melting into red rock canyons. But the final video, timestamped July 12th at 11:47 p.m., was different. The camera, propped on the dashboard, captured Emily whispering to someone off-screen, "We shouldn't have picked him up." Moments later, a shadow moved past the rear window. Then static. The clip ended. Police combed through highway surveillance. On July 11th, Daniel and Emily's van was seen pulling over to pick up a man, tall, white, late 30s, carrying a backpack. He got in. The van drove off. He was never seen again. A motel owner in Mexican Hat, Utah, later reported a man matching that description checking in alone, paying cash, and leaving before dawn. When investigators searched the room, they found a torn map page, the same kind used by Daniel and Emily, and a single fingerprint. But it didn't match anyone in the system. Then the FBI made a chilling connection. The description matched a transient drifter known as Luke, a man linked to 2 previous disappearances of hitchhikers along the same route. But Luke had never been caught. And like Daniel and Emily, he too vanished. Years passed, the case grew cold. Emily's parents still kept her paintings in their living room, bright, colorful works that seemed to belong to another lifetime. Daniel's mother still drove out to the desert every summer on the anniversary of their disappearance. Detective Vasquez retired in 2024, but she kept one file from her career on her desk, the Carters. She told a reporter, "Some cases don't end. They just fade until someone decides to remember them again." And then last year, a discovery reignited that memory. A hiker exploring a remote cave in Utah's Bears Ears region found a silver necklace, engraved with the initials ER, buried in the dirt near a burned-out campfire. Inside the cave was a faded Polaroid photo, showing 2 people standing beside a van. Their faces had been burned away. Forensic analysts couldn't confirm the identities. But for those who knew the case, the implication was chilling. To this day, the couple who vanished on a road trip across America remains unsolved. Theories continue to swirl online. Some believe Daniel snapped under pressure, that an argument spiraled into tragedy. Others think both were victims of the mysterious hitchhiker, a predator who used the openness of the desert as his hunting ground. And then there are those who cling to a stranger theory, that they staged their disappearance to escape everything and start a new life, somewhere far away. But maybe the truth is simpler and sadder. Maybe they trusted the wrong stranger. Maybe they drove too far into a place that gives up its secrets only to the wind. Their van still sits in police impound, dust-covered, silent. Inside, the dashboard clock frozen at 12:03 a.m. The last time the engine was running. Emily's final journal entry, found in her sketchbook, reads, "The desert is beautiful, but it feels like it's watching us." No one knows what she meant. But those who have stood on that lonely stretch of Route 163 at dusk, they say you can still hear the hum of a van engine carried on the wind. And if you listen closely, you might just hear the desert remembering. What do you think happened to Daniel and Emily Carter? Was it love turned deadly, a killer on the road, or something that defies explanation? Let us know your theory in the comments below. And if you're drawn to stories like this, dark, mysterious, and haunting, subscribe to K-Script Vault, where we uncover the truths time tried to forget.